Thank you very much, House Chair. My greetings to the Deputy Minister, Deputy Minister Mahlowa and Shabalala, to the Chair of the Portfolio Committee and members of the Portfolio Committee, and other members, Director General and senior officials. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to present our budget speech to this National Assembly today. Just a few months short of or shy of our assumption of office from 2021. We've been hard at work engaging all relevant stakeholders in the water sector while fast-tracking projects that will ultimately ensure the realization of the constitutional rights of water and safe environment to all as enshrined in our constitution. While we do all this, we analyze the outcomes of our interaction with the public and stakeholders and various opinions. Our primary focus as a department is ensuring the sustainability of the water sector in the Republic. Our water resource landscape. South Africa is a water-scarce country. Our average annual rainfall is about half the average of the world. We also have a very high evaporation rate. Consequently, the potential of South Africa to further develop its surface water resource is limited. In fact, already harnessing about 75% of our exploitable surface water resource. Untreated water supply availability is currently roughly in balance with the existing demands at a national level, but there are localized deficits or surplus. For instance, in Kabeja, there is a deficit. Our raw water availability in South Africa could, however, rapidly deteriorate as demand escalates due to both economic and population growth. In addition, there are factors which could result in contraction of supply, such as increasing physical losses in municipal distribution systems, degradation of wetlands, and the impact of climate change, which Deputy Ministers will of course deal with later. On the national water resource infrastructure projects, we need to build additional surface water storage capacity in good time to capture the remaining 25% of our available surface water resource. In our budget last year, I indicated the department would be focusing on accelerating implementation of a range of major projects in the country, and I'll indicate briefly on such. It is often more effective to increase the capacity of existing infrastructure rather than build from scratch. And the department has several projects to raise the height of the dam walls to increase the storage capacity of such dams. We start with Hazelmere, which is an 800 million project, which is funded by government. Against those who say government doesn't do anything, this is directly funded by government fiscus in KwaZulu-Natal. And I'm happy to announce that it has been completed. The project to raise the wall in Clan Williams Dam to improve water supply to agriculture and to provide water allocations to resource poor farmers on the west coast of this province, the Western Cape, is finally getting underway. Several tenders for construction and for work materials have been processed, and it's a 4 billion rand project. And work will start very soon and get completed in 2028. This is funded by government. Another project funded from the fiscus is the raising of the wall of Tsanin Dam, which is a 555 million dam project for Greater Letaba River catchment in Limpopo. And it's now being implemented after removing all the obstacles that were there. Implementing agent there is TPSA, just to make sure that we're on track and on time. It will be completed next year in December. Now, phase 2 of Lesotho Highlands Water Project will augment water supply to Gauteng by 490 million cubic meters to some areas in the Free State, in the Northwest and Northern Cape. And this project is underway now. It will increase water security, in particular in the integrated Vaal River system for the Gauteng economy in the main and other uses. And the main contract for Podihati Dam, for Podihati Katsa Transfer Tunnel and the Sengu Bridge were awarded last year. And the estimate cost of this project will be 39 billion rand. And it will be implemented by TCTA by raising money from the market, and it's due for completion in 2028. Now the president has been invited to Lesotho and will be leading our delegation there next week, which will mark the official launch of phase 2. The delayed Umzimvubu project is back on track, following a range of problems that have now been removed, and we've reconfigured the implementation plan for that, reducing the initial component of the project to 8 billion rand, working with Treasury. So Ntabelanga Dam will be constructed this year. We will start constructing that dam this year, towards the end of the year. Similarly, the 23 billion Komazi project is now back on track after it stalled because of several problems, including concerns raised by the affected municipality in terms of receiving that service. The project will increase water security in Umgeni's supply system, with supplies at Tegwin, supplies in Kungundlovu, Oku, Ilembe, Herigwala districts, and then Umsunduze municipality. The funding issue has been resolved in collaboration with the President's Infrastructure Fund, and will be implemented by TCTA and Umgenot. This project will definitely start sometime next year. National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency, Chairperson, the total value of the major water resource infrastructure projects that are being implemented, most of which I've just alluded to, is a collective of 130 billion rand. This in a way responds to the concerns raised by different South Africans, different quarters, that were not investing enough in water and sanitation infrastructure. So 130 billion already is committed, just at a macro level, and not counting municipal investments on infrastructure. But there are other range of projects that are underway, like a Harib pipeline augmentation, which will augment water to Mangaung, the Lower Kuni balancing dam, augment the much needed Alcoa water supply system, which will supply Kareha, and then among the towns of Eastern Cape. There will be also the Bait Bridge Musina integrated water supply, Limpopo, and then Klipfontein follows Usutu, Gwesbom, Jana, Militane, and Stephen Lamin dams in KZN. All these plans are underway and will be implemented soon. So we therefore need to raise even larger sums of money required to invest in the national water resource. We also need to invest in the rehabilitation and maintenance of existing water resource infrastructure. We're very much aware of that. It is for this reason that we are in the process of establishing the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency by transforming TCTA into an agency. Now, during the financial year, last financial year, we processed the bill and it's under discussion at NETLEC and will soon go to Cabinet. Water partnership. In addition to private sector funding for national water resource infrastructure, the water boards also raise money in the market to develop the bulk, for the development of the bulk distribution infrastructure, for which you are responsible. We've partnered with the private sector that have already worked out in the mining sector, the departments such and departments such as forestry, that is Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, and the National Treasury on one hand, and also Department of Public Works on the other, via the budget facility infrastructure. We're working well with all those sister departments. Now, the component of water value chain for which we need to mobilize much greater levels of private sector investment in municipal water services. In this regard, we've established a water partnership office partnering with DPSA and SALGA, and consultations are at an advanced stage, but already implementing some of the projects on this, in this regard. Now, sustainability of the water sector and water services. Chairperson, in our budget last year, we indicated that we accepted responsibility to arrest the reverse the decline in municipal water and sanitation services. This decline is evidenced, among others, by the results of our green blue drop reports. Many municipalities are in a downward spiral of poor decline in water services. There is also reduced rate of payment, increased debt, and low investment generally. To address this downward spiral, we need to ensure that water services are provided by professionally managed, capable, efficient, and financially viable institutions. And this is very important. It will mark a shift in the way we're doing things, and because the key cause of decline is poor governance in municipalities and ineffective management in municipal water, with billing, revenue collection, and municipal level is resulting in escalating debts across the water value chain. In February this year, municipalities owed boards 16.7 billion. And the municipalities, on the other hand, and the boards in turn owed the Department of Water and Sanitation 17.4 billion. We're worried about this. If it escalates and is allowed to spiral the way it does, there will be no water supply, both bulk and water services. So we have to do something. Now, following here are the measures that we are taking to arrest this kind of situation and possibility. We've agreed with National Treasury and water ports on several measures to be taken to address escalating debts, and we're in the process of consulting about these measures. We're consulting SALGA, we're about to finish, and they include the following: National Treasury withdrawing equitable share allocations from municipalities. They include Department of Water Ports, the Department and Water Ports, standardizing and strengthening their credit control measures and debt recovery process. The consistent enforcement of water restrictions on non-paying municipalities, including legal processes to attach municipal bank accounts where necessary, and the installation of bulk prepaid meters by water ports in municipalities. We're about to conclude this, and these are the measures that we are intending to do so that we enforce these measures. But the second set of measures is improving pricing. We have a regulator, an economic independent regulator, who is assisting us to reconfigure the whole of the pricing water regime, and in line with the Water Service Act for setting retail tariffs by municipalities. We'll be issuing revised water pricing strategy this financial year, and we'll also be working on the introduction of a multi-year tariff regime instead of every year. And we consider this as a necessary improvement at this stage. Thirdly, amendments for the Water Service Act. One of the underlying causes of the decline in municipal water services, both in terms of the inability of service delivery, in terms of financial sustainability, is the non-implementation of certain key requirements of the Water Services Act in the municipalities. The Act distinguishes between the water service authorities and water service providers and requires municipalities to separately manage and account for both roles. And it further requires water service authorities to ensure that water service providers provide access to efficient and sustainable water services to everyone. almost all water service authorities have not done this. They've become both the water service authority and the water service provider without distinguishing an account in terms of the law. We are interpreting the law otherwise, and we hope that we will reach consensus on this. There is this is under consideration in terms of amendments and also in terms of consulting. But the Minister of Water and Sanitation is also supposed to consult, or expected to consult the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy to deal with the aspect of mining water. We are doing this. So we are looking at amending the law in terms of responsibilities and functions of water service authorities and functions of water service providers in that order. We are also strengthening regulation. So in this regard, we are strengthening our role as the regulator of the water sector in several ways, and we'll be expanding on the no-drop assessment, or expanding our no-drop assessment reports to other sectors in addition to municipalities. Now, we're improving licensing processes by introducing, among others, IWULA digital water use licensing system, business process re-engineering and strengthening of our provincial offices and training of our staff. These measures have enabled us to deal with backlog of water licenses during 2020-2023, and this has improved. We're now at 70% in terms of issuing license applications within 90 days. And we're improving this to 90 days in line with the President's call to do it within that period. We've improved substantially on this matter. And in addition to this, we are aware of the Constitutional Court decision recently in relation to water rights. We will review the law on the matter so that the department's intention is clearly identified. And we intend doing this because the Constitutional Court doesn't have a problem in principle with our intention, but it's not stated in the law. And we're going to be getting this synergized. Now, the municipal water and sanitation services, what are we doing to support them over and above what we've spoken about already? The department has a constitutional obligation to support municipalities, and we're doing that. We managed 2 grants, WISIC and ARBIC. This year, ARBIC will rise to 10.1 billion to municipalities to implement regional bulk infrastructure, and then 4.6 billion for water services infrastructure. There will be 130 different projects across the country for ARBIC, and there will be 400 projects for WISIC. We have developed instruments to monitor this better and to make sure that money is used for the purpose far better than we've done in the past. So over the last year, we've crisscrossed the country, and what we have observed is it correlates with the results of our blue and green ROP assessments. Many municipalities are failing to manage water services, and the situation is deteriorating. We've been meeting mayors, councillors, and technical staff to collaborate in improvements in this regard. And then, therefore, the projects that I've alluded to will improve infrastructure that are funded by ARBIC and WISIC. And then we also mobilize water boards. Sometimes they come with our own resources. For an example, in the Eastern Cape, Amatola Water Board assisted Nelson Mandela Bay to complete phase 3 at a cost of 534 to water transfer. It's now running that project, adding 70 megaliters per day in Nelson Mandela Bay. We're using ARBIC. And then the same water board is assisting Makana with regard to the 393 million James Cleanance water treatment works and that is at 89% complete. Umgeni is assisting Alfred Zone, 450 million rand, Bizana, the regional water scheme from Lutega River, Lutega Dam. And then Amatola is also assisting in Namagwe, regional water supply at a cost of 506 million rand to supply water to Butterworth, Namagwe, and Dane.
Honorable Minister.
Next years.
Thank you very much. The time is up.
Thank you.
The Honorable Mashiko is the next speaker.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning to everybody, Minister, Deputy Ministers, the DG and all others. We want to move for the acceptance of the budget vote. The budget vote for 2023 budget on its predecessors. It lays a foundation for building water infrastructure to source the future of for the next generation. Indeed, this is a budget that is premised on the need for the people. It thus seeks to change the lives of our people to the better. It will improve access to water and sanitation services by households, which is currently at 90%. This budget will improve much needed water infrastructure to deliver water to the people, industries, and business. This infrastructure includes dams, pipelines, power lines, and pumps. During SOLA 2023 and the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan called for necessary development of bulk infrastructure and establishment of appropriate institutions. The strategic water infrastructure and institutions will accelerate water services delivery to underdeveloped, underdeserved households. In this regard, the plan to establish water infrastructure agency in the independent economic and the independent economic regulator in the medium term is a step in the right direction. That would ensure consolidation of bulk water infrastructure activities. Sorry. The independent economic regulator would also provide a platform for proper regulation of water pricing regime that would address the current municipal water debt to the water boards. This is the reason we as the committee and also the ANC support this budget vote. We note the dismay and the devastation that the extreme weather and failure of climate action has caused in the eastern coast of the country, especially in KZN, in the Eastern Cape and in the Northwest provinces. The floods demolished houses, roads, and other important infrastructure, and many lives have been lost. We have witnessed devastating drought in the recent past, and the drought continues to affect some part of Eastern Cape, Free State, Northern Cape, and Western Cape. This is in line with the climate change forecast by the South African Weather Services that predicts persistent dry conditions in the Western interior and the water conditions in the eastern part of the country. South Africa is a water scarce country, as we know. We do not have enough water resources, and climate change is worsening the situation. We must commend, of course, the minister for stabilizing the governance management of the department by having appointed a DG on full-time basis. You will remember that when we came here, there was no DG, the whole structure was not just effective. He has stabilized that particular structure. We must also, having commended the DG and his structure and the appointment of the CFO, Mr. Mwatse, that the extensive experience of public finance, among many other things, is the attributes that the office is bringing. Notwithstanding the great strides made by the minister, the deterioration and the vandalism of water, waste infrastructure, poor water pricing regime, escalating municipal water debt and to water boards, delays in issuing water use licenses, poor implementation of broader water resource policies to address equitable allocation and protection of the resources, and the delays in investment in water infrastructure continues to threaten the stability of the water sector governance. However, the midterm strategic framework 2019-2014 responds to the challenges as it provides priorities of government in line with the Vision 2030. The NDP Priority 4 of Economic Infrastructure calls for the expansion of water infrastructure, among others, to support economic growth and social development goals. It is also worth noting the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan as a direct response to COVID-19. Water is a resource and a sector is set to play a pivotal role in the reconstruction and recovery of the economy. I am glad to announce that these plans are adequately addressed in the tabled budget vote 41 and the APP, albeit budget shortages thereof. The overall budget allocation for vote 41 increases from 18.5 billion in 2022-23 to 22.3 billion rand in 2023-24. This is a significant increase of 2.7 billion rand in real terms. That is when installation is taken into account. This is in line with the departmental focus on infrastructure funding and development. The regulatory institutional reform during this year under review. This implies that service delivery will be better. In order to deliver water services to our people, we need to appropriate legislation that is in line with the Constitution, the legislation that will guide the process of water service delivery, the legislation that will ensure that there is equity and sustainable development. To this end, the budget vote 41 intends to have the amended National Water Bill approved in the medium term. This will be progressive step towards realizing equitable water service delivery. The amendment of the legislation will also enable the portfolio committee to strengthen the participation of the role of Parliament in the appointment of the board members to water boards and other entities, setting of water tariffs and water allocation processes, among others. This budget will provide much needed infrastructure to deliver water to the people, the industries, and the business. The infrastructure industries, dams, pipelines, power lines, and pumps. More than 14 billion rand of the budget will be transferred to municipalities for various bulk water infrastructure projects that will be carried out by the district municipalities. The minister has spoken about the 10.4 billion in terms of the RBIC and the 4.6 billion in terms of the WISIC. That's what we're talking about. I'm sorry. In this regard, 50 large regional bulk infrastructure projects will be under construction to various phases during the year under review. While 500 job opportunities will be created through the implementation of the regional bulk infrastructure projects. These projects, among others, remain a priority for the budget 41, the rising of the Klein Willem Dam, the Guyana Bulk Water Services, the Mzimbubu Dam, and the Umkoma's Water Project. These targets are also in line with the SONA 22 with respect to utilization of the district development model. Allow me to also commend the Minister for having spearheaded the VAL intervention in Sebokeng. Our people have been exposed to sewer spillages on daily basis. It is comforting to see this project in the APP that will be funded through the Water Service Infrastructure Grant. This intervention will secure the safeguard the infrastructure repair bulk network to eliminate current spillages, repair and critical pump stations, refurbish wastewater treatment works in the attempt to comply with the discharge license condition. The progress at this project and others across the country have been hampered by vandalism and theft. We witnessed this in the Free State and Limpopo processes where water and wastewater infrastructure are completely stripped off of anything that looks valuable. We therefore urge the security cluster to assist the minister to safeguard this project. These plans to eradicate all bucket toilets in the formal areas during the term are also commendable, as this will bring dignity to our people in the Free State and the Northern Cape. We have already visited Free State. We have seen what is happening. We are to visit the Northern Cape in August. The continuation of the implementation of April of Africa and the Global Interrelation Program for Water Security is worth celebrating. This strategic partnership is very important to our republic, since we heavily rely on transboundary water and water scarce countries such as Limpopo, shared with Botswana, Zimbabwe and Mozambique, Inkomati River shared with Swaziland, Mozambique, Orange Sea-2 River shared with Lesotho, Botswana and Namibia, and Maputo Usutu Pongola River shared with Swaziland and Mozambique. This partnership will ensure that our water supply is secure and our economic development is sustainable. The Lesotho Highlands Water Project is a practical product of this particular regional partnership. The minister has already spoken that the president is being invited there. We are happy about that. Honorable Chair, we note that this budget is tabled at the time when the economy is not growing very fast. Nevertheless, there is a number of challenges that we should be stressed in, that we should be addressed in order to effectively deliver the mandate of the budget vote, despite budgetary constraints. This slow pace of establishment of the independent economic regulator, water allocation reform, amendment of both National Water and Water Service Act, implementation of mega infrastructure, perhaps projects, and the decreasing budget allocation for infrastructure. This is a cause for concern. We therefore urge the department to find ways to fast track the implementation of these particular targets. The Portfolio Committee noted with the shortages of funds for mega infrastructure development, as this estimated cost of the mega infrastructure project is in excess of 100 billion rand. This means that it will take decades to fully achieve the country's infrastructure needs. Department and the government in general should consider tapping the public-private partnership in fast-tracking the infrastructure rollout program. There are many recommendations that we have made when we adopted this particular budget as a committee, because we did. I cannot recite all of them, but they are all in the budget vote report. I therefore reaffirm and support the adoption of this budget vote as tabled in this particular recommendation. And that the committee will hold to the department.
The Honorable Passon.
Goeiemôre almal.
Honorable Mashako, could you please give Honorable Passon an opportunity to start with this debate?
Chairperson, over a third of South Africa's drinking water is lost before it could be used. This is due to infrastructure failure, leaking pipes, mismanagement, and corruption at municipal level. Waterinfrastruktuur speel 'n baie belangrike rol om ekonomiese groei en sosiale ontwikkeling te bewerkstellig. Die wanbestuur van waterinfrastruktuur en die onvermoë om dit effektief te onderhou kan lei tot beperkte water beskikbaar vir ekonomiese ontwikkeling en vir menslike gebruik. South Africa has made considerable progress in providing water services, including piped water and sanitation. However, certain structural weaknesses persist. The proportion of population either has no water or due to uneven access to water, they remain vulnerable for waterborne diseases. The infrastructure funding gap is a cause of concern. Currently, there is less than 1% of the budget to fund the mega infrastructure project that are outlined in the APP. At this rate of allocation, it will take decades to complete these projects. The only solution for the department is to take hands with the private sector and develop and run mega infrastructure projects. Chairperson, corruption extends from taps in rural villages to the supply of South Africa's economic heartland. Village taps have run dry so that councillors and their friends could get contracts to truck water. Contractors on the Lesotho Phase 2 project providing water to Gauteng have been delayed by years, in part because Nvula Mokonyane tried to change procurement policies to benefit her friends. In the Western Cape, the raising of the Clanwilliam Dam, which would create thousands of new farming jobs, have been delayed for similar reasons. Companies have paid bribes to get contracts. Some companies claim payment for work badly done or not done at all, often colliding with officials who oversee their work. Others have monopolized specialist areas of work to grossly overcharge for their services. These problems are aggravated by failure to appoint competent people to do the jobs required and officials being pressurized by politicians and their seniors to do things wrong. Ending corruption will not solve all the country's water problems, but an effective campaign to wash corruption out of the water sector could create the environment in which larger water projects can be tackled. It could ensure that water security for all becomes once again the primary goal of the water sector. And in doing this, the water sector could provide guidance and inspiration to the rest of the nation. Chairperson, wastewater infrastructure is under stress and dysfunctional. Therefore, water specialists agree that 84% of wastewater plant is in critical risk, high risk, or medium risk, with only 16% of wastewater plants in low risk. This implies that 4,200 million liters of untreated or inadequately treated sewage is illegally discharged into 82% of South Africa's rivers and streams every single day. This is a disgrace, and this is threatening the integrity of our water resources. The ANC-run Guyana wastewater treatment works is a good example of this. Die Hartbeespoort Dam word beskou as die mees besoedelde dam in die wêreld, met duisende visse wat vrek as gevolg van die massiewe invloei van onbehandelde riool. Rivier af moet Mariebeng dit behandel vir drinkwater en boere moet gewasse besproei uit dieselfde dam. Voorsitter, dit is die gemors wat ons vandag mee sit, na 29 jaar van ANC regering. In 2024, a DA government will focus on following turnaround strategies to change the critical situation within the water sector. Protection of our water resources, implementing the DA's use it or lose it principle by transferring underperforming municipal water infrastructure to water boards. Monitoring pollution of our rivers and our streams by appointing more blue scorpions that will enforce the DA's polluter must pay principle. A rapid response unit to assist municipalities that have financial constraints or without technical skills to maintain infrastructure to deliver quality water with legislation in place to claim these costs against the municipalities' equitable share. And creating opportunities for private sector partnership with government in funding, managing, upgrading, and maintaining and creating new infrastructure. This will assist in funding the needed 800 billion rand over the next 10 years. In conclusion, Minister, die DA se boodskap aan u is baie duidelik. Wanneer Suid-Afrika se waterinfrastruktuur in duie stort, sal dit 60 miljoen mense raak, ryk of arm, swart of wit. Hulle lewens sal beïnvloed word en dit sal ongelooflike druk plaas op die land se ekonomie en terselfdertyd voedselsekerheid onder geweldige druk plaas. And now, Minister, just a reminder, water is life. Ek dank u.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The Honorable Masala.
This thing is this one. Greetings to the leadership collective, fighters, and the supporters of economic emancipation movement. The past 10 years has been a very dynamic and challenging time. We stand here today, like many other years, inspired the courage and the determination of the loyalty of the poorest, the undermined and the rejected who are excluded from the economic emancipation by white South Africa. On the 29th of July, 2023, the EFF will be having the mother of all anniversary celebration in FNB Stadium. As we mark 10 years of unbroken struggle, we invite all our people to come in their numbers and further call on all good South Africans to protect and advance the revolution by supporting the fundraising campaign by SMS to donate 10 Rand, 20 Rand, or 30 Rand, as we don't want to be supported by the white capital. We want the support of our people. Minister, people of South Africa want answers. They are saying they are giving you billions every year to give them water. All they see is the construction of big dams, but there's no water. The water doesn't arrive in their homes. This is what is happening in Nandoni and the Hiob Dam in Limpopo. This raises serious concern about the ANC government's approach and its effectiveness in delivering essential services. This contradiction arises from one of the branch of the government handling the construction of water infrastructure, while many municipalities lack the necessary distribution networks, or they are in disrepair. This raises further questions and concern to the citizens of this country. It is a sad reality that in many municipalities, delayed attempts by the local government to construct the reticulation networks leave valuable assets such as water treatment plants and wastewater treatment plants open to vandalism and theft. Chairperson, the people of Mukhanyagude in KwaZulu-Natal and the people of Matatiele in Eastern Cape are amongst the millions of South Africans who are denied water by the corrupt ANC that prioritize privatization of water in effort to protect their white bosses who continue to milk our money by selling our water to us. The department itself has acknowledged its failure to fulfill its constitutional duty of providing water and sanitation to all citizens in the country, which can be considered nothing less than a criminal act and human rights violation. According to the revised strategic plan, 2020, 2021 to 2024, 2025, several challenges pose a threat to upholding constitutional obligation. These include insufficient construction and upkeep of water and sanitation infrastructure in homes and communities, inadequate monitoring of the completion and quality of service delivery projects assigned to external contractors who have already been paid, insufficient maintenance of water treatment and wastewater treatment infrastructure, the degradation of water-related ecosystems, and water scarcity due to climate change, and inadequate investment in water and sanitation. For far too long, Minister, the water and wastewater infrastructure has suffered under the ineffective leadership of the current government led by looters. Our responsibility is to relentlessly push this government to fulfill its obligation and fix this vital system without further delay. Our recent oversight visit to Free State and Limpopo province unveiled the true extent of this government's long-standing failures in servicing our people. In towns like Fixbeck, citizens are forced to navigate through sewage overflow in the streets, while contaminated water continues to plague our nation due to this crumbling infrastructure. The current poor state of water and sanitation infrastructure in the municipality of Nketwana and Sitsotla, in Free State, in Fixbeck, Clockland, Senegal, Petrostain, Ritz, and Arlington revealed the lack of commitment on the side of the government for failing to honor the life of activist Andries Tatan, who was brutally shot for fighting for the demands of the people. There have been no significant improvement in the situation for the community. The government had not fulfilled its promise to provide water to the people and also to eliminate the bucket system in informal settlement, with over 12,000 bucket toilet systems still in that province. Furthermore, our visit to Limpopo exposed another failure, the Giyani project. Shockingly, the Minister of Water and Sanitation shamelessly declared to the public that the people of Guyana finally had access to clean water, when in reality, not a single reticulation project has been completed. Minister, it is time to face the harsh reality and acknowledge that the ANC-led government has utterly failed to address the immense challenges faced by the communities in provinces like Eastern Cape, Limpopo, KwaZulu-Natal, and others. In Eastern Cape, the dire state of water and sanitation provision reflects a lack of infrastructure and overwhelmed water supply system, resulting in widespread shortages and contamination. In Limpopo, over 400,000 households lack a basic water supply, while in KwaZulu-Natal, more than 600 households also are experiencing the problem. In Mpumalanga, 300 households suffer from lack of basic water and sanitation. Another area of contention is how this government handled flood disaster management in South Africa, which was marked by profound systematic failures. The district development model, held as the savior of our water and sanitation challenges, has proven to be an empty promise. Minister, it is disheartening to witness the abandonment and delay of essential projects. This government negligence is unforgivable, and we demand immediate action to rectify these failures. Our citizens deserve better. Our responsibility is to fight for their rights and well-being. We cannot stand idly by while our people suffer. We demand immediate responsibility, immediate action now, and commitment to rectify this failure. Minister Mushwale na ki Mushwa di rata marijuana. Ga o kgone go itirela ka ntle le go tlaletswa mashata. EFF ka se khomo le tla tswela pele le go lwela batho ka moka South Africa ka bophara gore ba khumane tikologo ye ya ikonomi. We reject this budget report and we condemn the incompetence of this ANC government. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Honorable Singh.
There's a clock here. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I wonder if I can do some fundraising from here because I'm the Treasurer General of my party. But I think we are here to deal with much more important issues involving a matter that affects every citizen in our country. And as the Honorable Member on my left said, water is life. Without water, we are nothing. So I think water is the most important commodity that all of us in our country require. Having said that, I think we need to acknowledge that millions of people, more than in 1994, have access to clean basic water. And that's a positive step. However, and it's a fact, but however, much more can be done because there are still millions who do not have access to water. And we hear about this, we read about this, we see strikes and people protesting all over because they don't have water. So Minister, you have your work cut out for you in terms of leading this department as the political head and ensuring that your officials and your entities that you have under you deliver. Now, let me just also make a disclaimer that I do not serve on this committee. My member is unwell, but I'm discussing IFP issues. But I'll be discussing issues that impact on the IFP and its constituency. One of the issues that we discussed some time ago, Honorable Minister, you will recall in another platform, was poor maintenance of infrastructure. The water losses in our country are too ghastly to imagine. Right? And more than 40% of our water is lost because of poor infrastructure. And whilst it is important to have bulk infrastructure, the projects that you mentioned that run into hundreds of millions and if not billions, there probably is a need to top slice amount for maintenance of infrastructure. If we don't top slice and put some money away for maintenance, then all these bulk projects are going to come to naught in 10 or 15 years' time. Having said that, Honorable Minister, I live in Ward 99 in Nkomas, in KwaZulu-Natal, and there is a major project underway there that's being handled by Mgeni, and which is going to help hundreds of thousands of people on the South Coast and in the Tegwini area. But the level of corruption, the mafia-style tactics that operate in that area, I've not seen that in my 30, 35 years of political life. I attended a meeting, Honorable Minister, where I never saw firearms like that before. And you know, I was an MEC and we used to go around and get protected. Where you get business people coming in with, I don't know what you call them, R5s or AK-47s or whatever, coming into a meeting and each one being guarded by these people. Why? Because of corruption and because each one is competing for the work in the area. So much so, Honorable Minister, that an ANC councillor was allegedly killed, assassinated because of some kind of involvement in these projects. So what I am saying, Honorable Minister, whereas these projects should bring hope to thousands of people, it's bringing despair when these kinds of things happen. And I would really like you and your department to get closer to your entities, like Mgeni Water and anybody else that's assigned this responsibility, to find out from them exactly what is happening. That project stalled for months because of infighting by business people. In the last minute that I got, Honorable Minister, I want to raise the issue of load shedding. And load shedding is not your direct responsibility, but the impact that it is having on the supply of water to thousands of residents across the country is really, really bad. Because many of the water pump stations operate through electricity. And when there is no electricity, then you don't get water being pumped to your holding areas. Now, I don't know what kind of interaction you have with those ministers of electricity, because it's very, very important to find out where are the key points of water delivery from water pumps to reservoirs. And perhaps we need to have, you know, not JoJo tanks, but bigger catchment areas where water can be placed in them by these tankers and be held in reserve for communities. Communities are really struggling because of electricity, which impacts on water. So I trust, Minister, that you will meet with your colleagues and come up with a comprehensive way and do an assessment of where, in which areas, water supply is being impacted to communities. And that is my time. I had more other issues, but I will leave it at that. But we will support this budget because we need communities to have water. And this is why.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. The Honorable May is the next speaker.
Okay. Dankie voorsitter. Mense vra vir my baie kere load shedding. Dan sê ek moenie bekommerd wees nie. Ons kan dit vinnig herstel in Suid-Afrika. Die grootste krisis wat ons bedreig in hierdie land is 'n tekort aan water en hongersnood. Suid-Afrika is een van die 30 droogste lande in die wêreld. Nou, akademici het 25, 26 jaar gelede al voorspel dat Suid-Afrika op 'n waterskaarste afstuur. Ek wil vir dieselfde was 100% korrek, maar die politici het geen aandag daaraan gegee nie. Waarom het ons vandag 'n watertekort? In die eerste instansie dit reën te min in Suid-Afrika. In die tweede instansie daar word nie genoeg geld geïnvesteer in die bou van damme nie. Ek wil vir net sê, ons moet bietjie terugkyk in die geskiedenis hoeveel damme gebou is destyds en nou. Maar dan van ons grootste probleme is die onderspandering van begrotings. En dit sien ons waar dit kom by onderhoud. Die munisipaliteite doen nie genoeg met onderhoud nie. Baie kere sê hulle het nie geld nie, maar ek sê vir hulle die politieke wil ontbreek eenvoudig. Kollega van my het my vanoggend gesê dat die minister op 'n vraag van hom geantwoord het in Mangaung, 46% van die water gaan verlore. In die res van Suid-Afrika werk ons omtrent op 40%. Dan sit ons met die bevolkingsaanwas in Suid-Afrika. Enige land waar jou bevolkingsaanwas hoër as jou ekonomiese groei stuur op 'n ramp af. Ek wil nie eens praat oor die invloed van mense uit Afrika nie. Munisipaliteite betaal nie hulle rekenings nie. Hoekom nie? Baie kere betaal die inwoners nie die rekenings nie en hulle nie in staat om te betaal nie. Maar wat is die oplossings? In 2019 het ek in 'n toespraak gesê in die parlement dat een van die belangrikste kort- en langtermyn oplossings in Suid-Afrika is watertanks. U weet, ons sit met 'n krisis in die Nelson Mandela Metro, 'n krisis. Hierdie naweek was God so goed. Ons het 100 mm reën onder kan die damme gekry. Almal wat watertanks het geglimlag. Hoekom die regering dit nie verpligtend maak nie? Geen bouplan in Suid-Afrika moet goedgekeur word alvorens daar nie voorsiening gemaak word vir water nie. Ek het met argitekte gepraat. Maak die hoeveelheid tanks liter water wat jy moet opgaan moet afhang van die grootte van jou dak. Dan sal ons in Suid-Afrika baie minder water gebruik. Iemand het my in Johannesburg gebel, 'n waterkenner. Hy sê 'n plek soos Johannesburg waar elke tweede, derde dag reën behoort nie eens van die Valdam se water te gebruik nie. Dan 'n ander een is working for water. Ek is baie in kontak met hierdie mense. Die wattles, black wattle veral in die Nelson Mandela Metro en van die Kouga rivier. Hulle het nie die geld nie om dit te ontbos nie. Ons moet baie meer daaromtrent doen. Waterherwinning is net so belangrik. Jy weet, as ons net kyk na 'n plek soos Namibië, hoe ver hulle gevorder is. Ons in Suid-Afrika het nog niks gedoen wat dit aanbetref nie. Bou van damme. Bou van damme. Voor 94 is by die 500 damme gebou. Ja, die kleinste dorpie het 'n damwal gehad waar water opgegaan is. Na 94 slegs een dam, die De Hoopdam. Hoe is dit moontlik? Ons kan ons nie anders verwag as 'n tekort aan water in Suid-Afrika nie. En dan die belangrikste is, die minister daarvoor verwys, die nooit gedag projek in Port Elizabeth. Nooit gedag projek, die watersuiwerings. Die Vryheidsfront het dit verlede jaar besoek. En ek sê nou vir vandag, fase 3 is vertraag met amper 2-3 jaar. Maar die slegste van alles is, en ek doen 'n beroep op die minister vandag, om vinnig op te tree, begin met fase 4, want ons het water, die Oranje Rietdam loop oor, die Van der Kloofdam, al daai damme loop oor, waar gaan die water heen? Gaan see toe, en die rede daarvoor is, ons doen niks om dit op te gaar nie, en 'n ander belangrike ding is, herlei water na droër dele in Suid-Afrika, die ou regering het beplan, dat water sou kom, Graafrenet, Beervleidam, af, en deur die Karoo gedeelte, Stuiterbel en al daai plekke, duisende werksgeleenthede kan geskep word. Maar die belangrikste van alles is, ek is bly u noem, dat daar beplanning is in die agbare minister vir die bou van damme. Ons kan dit nie uitstel nie. Load shedding is niks. 'n Watertekort beteken dood. Dankie.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Honorable, the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, Honorable Mafawa.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Mpangazita, Minister Macingwane, Deputy Minister Shabalala, our Chair of our committee, Comrade Mashiko, and all honorable members, our DG, and fellow South Africans. Your Excellencies and comrades, the global security continue to deteriorate due to Ukraine-Russia conflict, exacerbated by the global response that is pushing the world into the brink of World War III. The ongoing conflict has impacted negatively on global supply chain, food security, and energy security, and many citizens across the globe. They continue while exposing inequalities that are existing amongst nations. Chairperson, when we debate here, let's tell no lies, claim no easy victories, and not mask our difficulties. All these honorable members who are serving in our committee, they've agreed that this ministry is leading the sector in the right direction. We know that there is no municipality, all municipalities in our country, as water services authorities are struggling. Whether they are run by the DA, the IFP or the ANC, they do have challenges. And in Cape Town and elsewhere, where DA rules, SWA is running in the street. And the sins of our people is because they are black. And this Minister Mkhulu, has been on the ground with all of us, intervening in these areas. You know that in Mkanyagute were there. We are handling the issues to support that district. So that all those projects are there. In Guyana, we're all there. We were very excited. We're actually intervening, whether it's Mfuleni, we're intervening here in Cape Town. Many of our projects are moving. Tell no lies and don't claim easy victories. We must never politicize the issues of water because our people need to be assisted. Water is a precious resource. We must know that there are still many people in the world that don't have water. We agree that water is unequally distributed over space and time. And our country, under the leadership of the ANC, we have expanded access to more than 90% of people. But we have also expanded access to sanitation to more than 84%. But we are the first to admit that more needs still to be done. Our water is wasted and polluted and unsustainable managed. And then this is the biggest impact on socio-economic development, human security and environment. And climate change is one of those particular issues we must address. One of the things we can assure South Africans, the state of water resource infrastructure, as addressed by the South African Institute of Civil Engineers, we have done well in terms of water resource infrastructure. Even if you look at the grading now, we're at a stage where we can say that is still reasonable being managed. But our biggest concern is mostly around issues of wastewater management. Therefore, spending on repair, maintenance, and rehabilitation and supply system remains inadequate. And due to increased theft and vandalism and service delivery protests during funding from the maintenance has been diverted. We must be in a position to reassure South Africans that this government has ensured that the main system, which are the dams, they are actually being maintained and operated properly, because they're an essential component to ensure sound and sustainable water resources. We know that as a country, we have more than 500 dams that in the main, in the past, were used for irrigation and mining. And our ministry has changed that. All those single dams in Jozini and elsewhere have been converted into multi-purpose dams so that our people next to those dams can be able to benefit. We have conducted conditional assessment, our own engineers, as part of the World Commission on Dams. We are addressing those particular issues. And I can tell you that there is a dam rehabilitation program that we are running in the department to ensure that there is no dam failure. And we're also attending to the issues around tailing dams that you saw in Fontaine. And we've directed all the mines that the tailing dams must be in a conditions that they're able to use. And more importantly, we have actually completed during this administration since 1994. There are 43 dams that we've completed its rehabilitation. The people of Mpumalanga in Nyaga Dam, they are benefiting because of that. The Berg in the Western Cape, Nandoni, you can name all of them in all these particular provinces. And the minister,
honorable members, please reduce your noise. Remember, the venue does not allow us.
Because my members are from both sides and the venue is too small.
Okay, go ahead, member.
And I can assure you that there are also 22 major water resource infrastructure projects that Mactingwana you have spoken to. Those who are living around the dams, please note that we're transforming them for tourism, but also for other activities. And the request for proposal has been issued out, but we'll also deal with the other issues that are energy related. And we are working with the Tourism Council. One of the biggest problems we have as a country is that our precious water resource has not been used by some institutions and individuals efficiently as possible. Therefore, we need to increase our opportunity to use water efficiently in all our sectors so that we can actually experience issues of growth. We know that the consumption by South African is above the normal standard that we see in the world, 273 liters per person per day, as compared to the average of 173. And the water losses that have been spoken to, we are dealing with those. But the issues of dealing with this matter, we are putting 1 billion aside for projects around the country to assist even the irrigation sector to deal with the entire convergence system. in the Sand River Government Water Scheme, Kamata Irrigation Scheme, Nzelele Irrigation Scheme, because we know that every drop of water that we waste, someone is looking for that particular drop. We're also promoting issues of water mix so that we know that there is no abundance of water and we don't spend too much money in new infrastructure when there is existing water resources. In terms of our methodologies and capacity, we will deal with the issues of water resource management in terms of quality, social awareness and education, rehabilitation, the distribution system around pressure management, metering, replacement of infrastructure, consumer demand management, which is social awareness and education, and deal with the issues of return flow management so that we can do reuse and recycling. So that those issues of pollutions must be dealt with. We are proceeding with the transformation of water in management institution and the irrigation scheme. As I'm about to conclude, let's indicate that this ministry will never rest on its laurels as long as there are certain municipalities and communities that don't have water. In terms of Section 154, we are going to be able to intervene to support. Where it is necessary, we'll be able to intervene with Section 63, like we're doing elsewhere. And we have agreed with all provinces that we must be able to help them. We are therefore, as South Africans have to agree, we are faced by several challenges globally and domestically, and many of our people might have lost hope. But through this ministry, through the dark tunnel, we agree there is light. And the good feedback were given by yourselves as members of the portfolio committee, but also the areas of improvement, and we are improving. Let's remain vigilant of the dangers that are faced by our revolutionary advancement. We should not be rigid when we deal with this. We must never be inflexible or inactive to change. The water sector will remain the same. We are changing the water sector and the landscape. We shall deliver water to those South Africans who don't have access to water, because they too under the sun, access to water is their right. It's because it's a right enshrined in the Constitution. To have decent sanitation and no sewer running into people's homes is our quest. We'll do it. And we're actually inviting you to become partners in the journey for change. I implore you that let us work together towards the prosperity of our nation and for the benefit of our future generation. Let's stop politicking and quibbling. We must be able to use water efficiently and protect our environment. We will be in a position working with those communities like Minister, where we have intervened, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, in the Eastern Cape, because those issues around climate change are still impacting on us. But we're very confident we are going to be making a change. God bless Africa, her sons and daughters. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. Honorable members, may I remind you that you, as members, we all have a right to heckle, but don't do it in such a way that it disturbs the debate. Otherwise, I will have to make a ruling that one or two members in this house will have to elope to the other side so that the noise between them is lessened.
Yes.
Maybe if I'm allowed, I would do that. Honorable Batuba, the platform is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Greetings to the Minister and Deputy Ministers, honorable members, our guests. Honorable Chairperson, in the UN 2023 Water Conference, the water is the lifeblood of society. We need water for a thriving economy that can run farms, businesses, and factories. We need water for sustainable development to produce food and deliver low carbon growth. And we need clean water for healthy children and adults to realize the potential as productive members of society. The African National Congress fully supports this budget, informed by the fact that water is a source of life and that access to basic water results in economic benefits, lower health costs, more productivity, and fewer premature deaths. Our support to this budget is further informed by the fact that we want to ease women from the yoke of servitude, which comes with shortage of water. It is only when sufficient water resources are dedicated to providing water in all corners of our country will women rest from fetching water in heavy gallons and far from places. The provision of clean water to communities is therefore a catalyst for gender equality, where women don't do unpaid work or fetching water for the families. We are of the conviction that there is a link between access to basic water and the fight for gender equality. Honorable House Chair, this is not the time to nibble around the edges, and this is not the time to stand back and watch while those who seek to co-govern with us grandstand for votes. This is the time to confront the reality and put our people first. The African National Congress fully support this budget. We do so because we are a caring government that is fully aware of that water is the source of life, and that access to basic water results in economic benefits that lowers health costs. It is only the historically disadvantaged and the displaced that understand the challenges brought about by the oppressive regime, which did not recognize the majority in this country as deserving of any rights, including the right to clean drinkable water. This budget will dismantle water apartheid in many townships and rural areas where majority of our people were displaced far from productive and economic activities. Chairperson, in line with chapter 27(1) and B of the Constitution, the people of South Africa deserve clean water in line with the right to have access to water. This budget exactly aims to do that, to fulfill the expectation and the right of the people to clean water despite their sexuality, gender, class, or race. This honorable members includes those who still vote for those who oppressed the majority in this country. We provide this source of life to everyone, including those who even oppose us during the debate. They use the very resource of life that we are providing to all South Africans, including themselves. Chairperson, we have been engaging in debates around how we must keep our country and communities clean. We'll continue to experience, Chairperson, climate change and rain scarcity. So we have a responsibility to mitigate against the effects of climate change, including through scientific methods. We will agree that we all agree that we cannot build clean communities without water and sanitation. It is a general phenomenon that water and sanitation are the backbone of all industries and sectors, the backbone of all government work, and the centerpiece for healthier and productive communities. We must also use this opportunity, Chairperson, to call upon our people to use water sparingly and wisely. The research conducted by the Institute for Security Studies found that the use of water by South Africans is far above the global average. According to this research, the current water used by South Africans is about 234 liters of water per person daily, above the global average of 173 liters. This means we are 61 liters per person daily above the global average. We'll continue through various platforms, including our outreach program, to spread the water conservation message. We are the current chair of the much talked about BRICS, and we will be taking in this journey as the department to benchmark on how other countries are treating their wastewater with new technologies that prevent contamination of rivers, seas, and environment. There's a great interest and shift towards the use of groundwater. More and more countries are encouraging their citizens and farmers to use groundwater. This is the future, honorable members. And this shift will give our people fresh water for consumption and agricultural use. We certainly look into how we expand on this as a country. The budget will also help us to accelerate our work towards achieving the National Development Plan 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals number 6 established by the United Nations Assembly in 2015, which speaks of ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. The NDP 2030 and SDG expand further on how drinking water should be affordable, safe, provide access to sanitation and hygiene, and improving waste and water treatment and safe reuse among the 6 outcome targets. In conclusion, Honorable Chair, I wish to commend our minister and the department for the sterling work that they have done in engaging with communities, making them understand what the challenges, but most importantly, timely response to the frustrations of our people. Honorable Chair, our people will always remember those who were with them during the difficult times. They will remember those who stood side by side with them when they were displaced and treated institution that was declared a crime against humanity. Our people will never forget the bloodshed upon which this government was built. Our people will always remember that the sons and daughters of those who killed our brothers and sisters are still here with us. We all know that they were opposed to a democratic government, but today they are beneficiaries, the privileges they fought against. We will remind them in 1924. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Honorable members, order. The honorable members, the powers to preside are now fully vested with me. We take this opportunity to call Honorable Member Cope. Honorable Deputy Minister Chabalala. You've got 10 minutes, Deputy Minister.
Thank you so much. I thought my DM left a minute. House Chairperson, Minister Senzo Mkhunu, Deputy Minister, Honorable David Mahlobo, honorable members of the House, viewers at home, Portfolio Committee, Ndirindi Machiruni, Aushini Sanbonan, Dumelang, Ehuyomore, and good morning.
Good morning.
Now, the month of May is very significant to our democratic dispensation, as it was on the 10th of May, our country's first democratically elected President Nelson Mandela was sworn in as the fulfillment of the provision of the Freedom Charter that the People Democratic Society, and it contains the wishes of aspirations of our people, with the declaration that no government can justly claim authority unless it's based on the will of the people. The wishes and aspirations of are exploited in the provision of a democratic constitution, and notably the Bill of Rights. And I would like to make the reference of Section 24 and Section 27, which provides that every individual has the fundamental right to access sufficient water, live in an environment that is not harmful to the health or well-being. Honorable Chairperson, the previous undemocratic government of apartheid did not care about this fundamental right or any other rights provided enshrined in the Constitution, and to the detriment of the majority of Black South Africans, only cared to provide access of water to sanitation to the formerly white areas. So I want to urge the DA to go and resolve the issue of Khayelitsha, the sewer there, Khayelitsha and Nyanga. Since 1994, our democratic state took the responsibility to progressively realize the right to water and sanitation and enacted national legislation and policies to ensure the implementation of the guarantee rights of access of water and sanitation. Whilst promoting equality and fostering the well-being of South Africans, we need to transform of water use allocations and the important legislation of the National Water Act, which establishes a comprehensive framework for sustainable water management, equitable allocation and water pollution control. It promotes access to clean water, protects our ecosystems and fosters efficient water use. The National Water Act is our guide in building a future where water scarcity is overcome, especially in the light of the climate change and its negative impact on our water resources. We're taking action to ensure that water users comply with the National Water Act, registering and obtaining necessary authorization while enforcing penalties for water services by users. And this will include the capacitation of local municipalities in the provision of reliable water services, as well as ensuring enforcement of regulations, compliance and enforcement in line with the Municipality Systems Act, National Water Act and National Services Act. We will also be progressively implementing compulsory water licensing, which will improve water use control, allow for more efficient allocation and freeing up water users. We are also looking at the amendments to the Water Services Act that will also assist us to better regulate water services and to enforce compliance with the norms and standards. In this financial year, we will also be submitting the proposed amendment bill to the National Water Act, which will further facilitate the transformation of water use allocation, fostering sustainable, inclusive water management, and improving the consistency of regulatory actions. From April 2022 to date, the department has issued 280 notices and directives under the sections 1920-53, 118 of the National Water User Act. The actions have aimed at compelling polluters to take remedial action and curb pollution of water resources. The department has also pursued criminal action against polluters by instituting charges against 12 water users found to have caused pollution of water resources. We've also finalized the handover 6 case dockets to the NPA to take a decision to prosecute. Now, when we speak about crime, you say there's not much that has been done around corruption. I hope that you are listening, honorable member from the EFF. Now, we have constitutional obligation to support and regulate municipalities, and we manage the regional back infrastructure, the RBIC and water services infrastructure grant, allocating 10.1 billion rand and 4.6 billion rand, and respectively to fund over 130 projects and 400 projects across the country through the office of the Minister Matungwana Mkunu. The department has been actively engaging with municipalities to address the deteriorating water and sanitation situation, agreeing on improved plans and mobilizing water boards for assistance. Major projects are underway, honorable members, in various provinces. I can tell you, since I've been in this department, this honorable minister has been taking us to the ground, including in Limpopo, Mpumalanga and Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, aimed at improving water infrastructure and addressing the shortages. While the minister's interventions are very crucial, the underlying issues of poor governance and weak management need to be addressed within the municipalities. As indicated, the proposed amendment to the Water Services Act are being developed to tackle these root causes and to prevent future deterioration once our ongoing projects are completed. Now, honorable members, I want to say that when it comes to hydropower, we have taken significant steps to ensure fair and equitable opportunities in water use for electricity generation by issuing requests for application from independent power producers, the IPPs. We aim to grant water use license for hydropower generation in a transparent and unbiased manner, allowing all potential investors and equal chance to contribute to our energy needs. So we are addressing the issue for energy shortage. So you must just follow. Additionally, we lower the cost and maintain vital infrastructure during the load shedding. We sought expression of interest for independent power producers to establish renewable electricity generation capacity and establish long-term off-take agreements. These actions will not only benefit our department, but will also ensure uninterrupted water supply to ESCOM during severe periods of load shedding. Let us work together to harness the power of water and renewable energy, fostering sustainable development and securing our energy for future. Load shedding has a direct negative impact on both electricity and water provision, disrupting the reliable supply of both essential services. Now, the catchment agencies, I did hear you speak about it. The National Water Act establishes this catchment management agencies to involve local stakeholders in water use, resource management at the catchment level. These agencies ensure sustainable and equitable use, conservation and control of water resources for the benefit of all citizens. As we said, water should not be politicized. Water should not know any creed, no color, no political affiliation. Water is life. Everybody must be given water. This minister has been emphasizing and ensuring that we work with everybody. I hear to Honorable I can assure you, we've been in Kanyagute, we've been in Khabalingana, we've been in KZN, we've been in Zululand. Every single week we are from there. We came back from Thursday. The issue of the communities, these business forums that are there, you honorable members, you must assist us when the department does this implementation. You must form social compact with government, because government in this department, led by that DG, very capable for that matter. We want to ensure that there is water, but you must assist us with all these things that you're talking about and gangsterism that we are seeing. So we want the Fusion Center to also assist us to strengthen. Let me conclude, honorable members. I want to say in his SONA 2023, President Cyril Matamala Ramaphosa said that Department of Water and Sanitation is leading infrastructure investment to ensure reliable water supply with projects such as Lesotho Highlands Umzimvubu water projects, and that these initiatives aim to enhance water security for regions such as the Free State, Gauteng, Mpumalanga, Northwest and Northern Cape. Additionally, he spoke to the increased capacity of the Clan William Dam, Hazelmere Dam and Zanin Dam to improve water supply to the West Coast, eThekwini in the eastern part of Limpopo, as well as streamlining water use license application. In doing so, ensuring that we leave no one behind.
Chairperson. Chair.
Honorable MGE Hendricks.
Chairperson. Chair. Can you allow me on a point of order?
What is the point of order?
No, Chairperson, I really, I'm so happy about the Deputy Minister who was just speaking here, because we can see now they are following suit. They following what the EFF is doing. They know that when you come
What
to
is the
work,
point of order?
you wear overalls and the boots. Thank you so much. So we can see now.
Okay, that's not
They
the
are
point of
coming,
order.
they are coming one by one, they'll be wearing overalls and boots. Thank you.
Honorable Hendricks.
Thank you
Hendricks
very
is not
much.
here. Honorable Sheikh Imam.
Thank you very
Honorable
much,
Sheikh Imam
Honorable
is
Chair.
not here.
Chair.
Honorable Maybeck.
Honorable Chair, it's Honorable Hendricks. Are you telling me I can speak now?
You have 6 minutes plus 1, so. Yeah.
Honorable Chair, it's Honorable Hendricks here. Is it my turn to speak now?
Oh, sorry, Honorable Maybeck. I did call you Honorable Hendricks. I'm sorry that there was a lag on your side to come on. Honorable Hendricks. You can come on, yes, Honorable Hendricks. Please take your seat, Honorable Maybeck. I'm very sorry. Yes, over to you, Honorable Hendricks. You've got 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, you listened to the commitments made by the Minister of Water Affairs and the Deputy Ministers. I think the nation is very proud of the hope that they are giving. This same, the chairman of this committee has indicated that all ministers before them, since 2012, should appear and be charged for neglect, for not carrying out their mandate. So I'm very happy that the minister that we have now and the deputy ministers have come up with concrete proposals. President Mandela did the same thing when we got our new democracy. Water was top of his priority, and he said in 1 year's time, there will be no pit toilets, but we know what the situation there. Honorable Chair, the Ugi district on the south coast in KwaZulu-Natal is plagued by water challenges from the supply of bulk water to the actual reticulation process. Chair, while the Mukomazi Dam will assist with bulk supply, we believe that like National has intervened in eThekwini, National must intervene in the Ugi district to ensure water resources and bulk supply is managed correctly so that residents can benefit. And I hope the minister and the deputy ministers will give special attention to the Ugi district because it's going to be part of a smart city. We can't have a smart city and one of the important districts has no water. We acknowledge the tremendous progress made with regard to injection of capital projects and the support of the DBSA to ensure public-private partnerships. We hope that this department will carry out its mandate, which will give a lot of hope to South Africa to have water. But Honorable Chair, the biggest mistake the African National Congress and other political parties has made is that they didn't draw up a proper clause in the Constitution. They said that presidents have the right to access to water. It should be you have the right to water. Access means you must wait 20 years, like the people are waiting 20 years since President Mandela said there will be no pit toilets. Lastly, Honorable Chair, the Umzimkhulu Dam, 20 years. Our first resistance fighters come from there, but the last to get water are the people of around Umzimkhulu Dam. 1 million of them are waiting for water for 20 years. And I believe now Treasury is going to have a go at it. And we know Treasury has got no money. So they have to wait another 30 years. Honorable Chair, sanitation is a problem, especially in Massapemaleli, where the DA rules. The African child lives in sewage, dies in sewage, eats in sewage there, and the National Department must make sure that the African child does not live in sewage like they do in Massapemaleli under the control of the Democratic Alliance when Honorable Patricia Lalo was the mayor. Thank you very much, Honorable House Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hendricks. Honorable members, and you, Honorable Hendricks, I'm informed that there was an understanding and an agreement among yourselves that those who are going to debate will be physically here in the House. It has also been brought to my attention as I was transitioning into this chair that you have not advanced reasons for your absence here today. So I hope based on your own agreement, you know what is the next step to take. Honorable Sheikh Imam, not there. Honorable Maybeck, Sieve Menite.
I have to say I'm Honorable Chair, Minister, Deputy Ministers, members of the House here present today, I have to say I'm struck and appalled by the level of hatred and vitriol and even racism spewed from this platform this morning, both from speakers from the African National Congress and from their youth wing across the aisle. And maybe it's because of this focus on revenging the past and spewing hatred about fellow South Africans, about what might have happened and indeed did happen in the past, instead of focusing on addressing the future. Maybe that is why we are sitting with the infrastructure problems and the service delivery problems that we're facing in this country. Stop trying to fix the past and start addressing the future. In recent days, we've noticed how leading retailers, economists, and risk analysts have voiced with great concern the growing levels of poverty and hunger
and the ongoing energy crisis in this country and the water problems associated with it, all brought about because of the policies of this government, especially that of cadre deployment. We know that in many parts of the country, water and sanitation services, in other words, life and dignity, have come to a standstill. And after 30 years of misrule by the so-called liberation movement, millions of people are still excluded from life and dignity, water and sanitation. And things, Honorable Chair, will only get worse because since 1994, very little has been done about expanding our capacity in terms of dams. Because building dams, why? Because the late Kader Asmal for one, believed that rivers must flow freely.
Chairperson over here.
Okay, honorable members, let us not drown the speaker, please.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Please don't drown the speaker.
Chairperson, I am speaking.
Yeah, but why?
I would just
sorry.
thank you, Chairperson.
Sorry. No, I've not given you.
Yes, Chairperson, yes.
Don't scream
Chairperson,
at
no,
me.
but I wanted you to hear me. You didn't hear
No, I
me.
hear you.
Continue.
I hear you. Just make sure that you don't scream at me. Because I was still saying to members, don't drown down the speaker. And you came to the wrong conclusion that I'm not listening to you. So I was just trying to bring the house under order. So you can now say whatever you want to say. What is it that you want to say?
Chairperson, I'm also in agreement that they are heckling way too loud, but also Chairperson, we must be mindful when we talk, we don't spew racism again because the land belonged to the Khoisan people.
Okay. Well, you didn't say point of order or whatever, it's just a statement. Honorable members, let me urge you again. Let me appeal to you, please, honorable members. Let us not drown the honorable maybe Hanan.
Thank you, Chair. As I said, things will only get worse because since 1994, the building of dams have largely been neglected because the late Kader Asmal, for one, believed that the rivers must flow freely. We mustn't dam them up and that the people must simply use water more responsibly. You see, and that was his approach to infrastructure and to planning. Meanwhile, it seems no one in the department has noticed that Kader Asmal is no longer the minister. And so today we face the situation, Chair, that by 2030, South Africa's demand for water will outstrip supply by almost 20%. And so, Chair, when it comes to sanitation, the picture is no better. I quote from the budget analysis, vote 41, produced by this Parliament's research unit, I quote, "The majority of wastewater treatment systems are dysfunctional and continue to threaten the integrity and quality of water resources as untreated wastewater is constantly being discharged into rivers," unquote. Speaker, when homes and businesses are without electricity, people get deeply upset and fed up, and understandably so. When they are with lights and water, they get extremely upset, rightly so. However, when they are without lights, water, and food, we have not only a socio-economic disaster, but also all of the ingredients for large-scale public violence and disorder.
What's the issue?
No, Chairperson, I just want to check if the speaker can take a question.
Honorable Maybeck, are you ready to take any question?
No, sir, I don't have time.
Yeah. Hanan, Minister.
Speaker, as I've said, when they are without lights and water, people get extremely upset. When you add food to that, we not only have a socio-economic disaster, but also all of the ingredients for large-scale public violence and disorder, as we've seen before. Now, we already know that our police force is absent without leave most of the time. We've also learned recently that our defense forces have apparently loaded their last few rounds of ammunition onto a Russian ship in Simonstown, with the result that the government will have no hope of restoring law and order when the masses in fact do rise up. Fundamentally, what lies at the heart of this deepening crisis, Minister, is the interdependence of three crucially important factors, namely water, energy, and food. These three, water, energy, and food, are indispensable pillars for the proper functioning of the economy and the livelihoods of our people, and if neglected, will create the perfect storm. The government clearly doesn't understand this, or simply couldn't care less, because after decades of self-indulgent misrule, they appear oblivious to the decay all around them and actively continue to mislead the public in order to hide their own wrongdoing. For instance, the president and the ANC knows nothing about millions of dollars stuffed into his furniture. The president and the ANC knows nothing about a foreign ship in the government's most important naval base, nor does his government know anything about corruption at ESCOM. And next they will tell us they know nothing about the water crisis in South Africa. You see, every oversight visit overtaken by this department simply underlines one point, and that is the deepening water and sanitation crisis unfolding across the country, with one notable and happy exception, of course, the Western Cape. And so, as we look to 2024, Chair, we need to remind the country that where the DA governs, potable water and safe sanitation is not the preserve of the select few, but a basic and essential service for all. We also need to alert the country that whilst the ANC...
Honorable Maybeck, there's a hand on my right here. What is the issue, Honorable Member?
Does Honorable Maybeck agree with the member of the DA when she said that this land belongs to the Khoisan?
What is that?
I'm asking...
You are debating.
I'm asking member a question. No, it's not an order, it's a question. Chair.
Okay, take your seat, Honorable Member. Honorable Maybeck Khan Ad.
Chair, we need to alert the country that whilst the ANC pretends to deal with corruption, not a single ANC cadre, not one, has gone to jail, despite the Minister of Water and Sanitation, under whose watch the large-scale looting of state resources took place within this department, has been elected to the highest echelons of the party, where she finds succor and solace whilst the taps of the poor run dry. The crux of the matter is this, Chair, that as the custodian of the country's water and responsible for ensuring that water resources are protected and developed, the Department of Water and Sanitation has failed the people of this country miserably. Make no mistake, have no doubt, water is rapidly going the same direction as electricity. The only difference is that the water crisis will be much, much more difficult to manage. But all is not lost, Chair. All is not lost. We live in the hope and we live with the consolation that after 2024, a DA-led government will do for water and sanitation what it's doing for the Western Cape. Thank you.
Honorable Sethwai.
Chairperson, Honorable Falber, can I quick come in before the next speaker, please?
There were some minutes that were saved when Honorable Metuba was speaking on behalf of the African National Congress. So instead of you having 11 minutes, you now have 13 minutes for you to decide what to do with it. Over to you.
Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, honorable Minister, and Deputy Ministers, fellow South Africans. Kuhle uba namhlanje sivumelane into kokuba elisebe lisemsebenzini. Umuntu ongafuni uvuma ngakumbe kule committee udlala ngexesha. Udlala ngexesha. Ngimamele apha uba kukho nomncwabo oplanwayo wakwa 2024 EFF ne-DA. Asingcamanga. Sawudibana pha echatshalazini. Sawudibana pha indima ingo 2024 echatshalazini. Kaloku awuzawuthi une 10 years ungakhange ulawule ube soyazi uba kulawulwa njani. Awuzuthi une 300 years unika ithuba lokulawula ungazange wenze. Ngiyayibona le utshintsha caps thethwe ngomnye umbutho kanti sekangulowa lona silwa nawo ngoku. Asifuni ke uba singene kwezonto Mayback, but sanusidrivela khona. Sanusidrivela khona. EFF uqengelekile kubona umjodo umxoxosi ungena uhlale kula tafile ungena plan ungena nix ucinge uba uzawuphathela ilizwe. Plan, minister, that's what you are doing. That's what you are doing. Ufika infrastructure ungena water corruption thinking into yoba siyayoyika andimazuvela phi lamntu.
Honorable member, just hold on. I'm told Honorable Faber, your hand is up on the platform. What's the issue?
Chairperson, I'm putting it down. I will speak to the whip on duty. Thanks, Chair.
That's kind of you. Proceed, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much. The department has got constitutional obligations and legislated so to deal with the mandate yokunikezela the clean and quality water to the citizens. Ipremise sikuyoli. Uminister umchunu akajikelezi ukulo ndawo with the department. Fungena kulendele corruption. ANC ku national conference kulo December is very clear in Doba. We must make sure that everyone accounts, everyone is able to understand. Everyone is
Order, honorable members. Proceed, honorable members.
The premise is that when we came to this
Point of order, Chairperson.
when Nelson Mandela was
Just hold
the
on,
president,
Honorable Setlhwayi.
Yes,
What is the
Chair.
point of order?
Yes, I just want to check if can the speaker on the platform take a question.
Honorable Setlhwayi, are you in a position to take any question from the
I
honorable
don't
member?
have time.
Go on, honorable member.
Nelson Mandela once said, when he was a president here, I quote, when the conditions improves and the wealth improves, make sure that you leave something for the poor people. It is a pity that in corruption that we didn't plan for. ANC did not plan for corruption. It planned for good services to the people. It's emerging highly. Linda, let me speak about Ikian. Umuhlale must speak the truth. We coming from Guyana. Imali Guyana yalahleka, and there are no pipes, there is no infrastructure. This government, this department took all those to jail and dismissed them, even in the municipality. Abanye ke mabathule ngoba apha kusetyale nekagqitywa le-BBS. Abantu ivimba yabanye abantu abalapha enxele. EDA mayingathi xa itshintsha gaps izo a challenge ANC. We are in this quagmire because of 300 years, the Nationalist Party, the Democratic Party, which is a DA today. Which is a DA today.
Order, honorable members, order in the house, order. Honorable members, no. Honorable members, please, Honorable Secretary, just relax, my sister, right? I just want to bring the house under some control.
Chairperson.
Honorable member, please don't scream at the speaker. And you, honorable member, don't scream across. Don't scream across, because people might not notice the difference with regard to adherence of the rules. So thank you very much. Continue, honorable member.
Let me come to the corruption that you speak about
Chairperson.
in the department.
Yes. Well,
The
just hold on, just hold on.
departmental investigation-
Another try, take your time. my
Yes, this
sister.
is the time,
Take
yeah,
your
more.
time. Don't worry, we are holding your time.
Chairperson,
Yes, honorable member.
earlier on, I raised the point that the issue that the ANC and the DA are the same. The ANC swallowed the national party. Now,
What point is that one?
The point is that she's misleading the people of
Terms
South
of the
Africa
rules,
because
what
they are the
point
same.
is that one?
ANC and DA is the same thing.
Okay, take your seat, honorable member. Proceed, honorable secretary.
As it is now, it has resulted to 173 forensic investigation cases led by the internal audit and SIU NEHOX. We are dealing with corruption as a thing in Aban. We applaud the department for the sterling work. Mphathiswa, nawe DG, ningayeki, ningasilahla, hambani nathi kakuhle endleleni. Remember, we could not employ top management for years. Today, the department has a DG, has a DDG, has a CFO, has got all chief directors for the programs. Government investigation is systematic towards evidence-based. Apa asipeki osmiley up. Sukufaka usmiley embizeni umtye. Already, you must plan. Let me speak about the issue of infrastructure development. Speak Ismaili up. Manpendule lende yaseKiyani. Sivele Kiyani. Abanye babo besihamba nabo pha. It's amazing the work that the department has done eKiyani. Lindani man. Hey. 24 villages out of 55 will be retitulated within 12 months. As a committee, will hold to your words, Mphathiswa, because we need sustainable quality infrastructure. Imopane district must stick to the implementation of third segment, utilizing a department grant. Imali grant ka national department, mayingayikho salaries bantakwethu. Mawungayobhatalwa salaries. What we must do, we must make sure that we create value for the money. Strengthening of many dams. Maspendle na lento kaNandoni. Yazi iNandoni iyaphuphuma. Andani magqweleni uyibona. Iyaphuphuma amanzi enje. When the department came to this department, iNandoni was in crisis. It's only this department that created that iNandoni to where it is today. iNandoni supply many other dams, such as Itsami Dam, and it provides water to Kiyani and Limpopo, and that is commendable, Honorable Minister. Umohlali wepha, umohlala wepha, umohlali azihamba naye, kayazi nje. She was happy. He was happy. She was happy. The construction of bulk infrastructure for sustainable water provision has expanded to many Limpopo areas. Zenimamele Limpopo, umamele nawo Muhlali. These are the areas, abantu baseLimpopo mamele uba. These are the areas that are going to benefit in that water within 12 months. Because sibeki bulk, sibeki reticulation. Abanzi bafumana umpompo abantu. Linda man. Imalamlela, imakumeke, iPhindelani, idinga, imnciphisi, imatsakali are in the plan kule 12 months to get water. Because kaloku sithe nge-sustainability up. Asakhiwe Ismaili up, asibeke Ismaili up. The project will benefit 12,228 households. We call in Shabane municipality. Sabe sikhona sangakambuki. Sabe silapha. Tikunika 12 months nje. The overall project in Gihane will benefit 47,086 households. People that have never been cared for by the Nationalist Party, the Democratic Party, the DA. The SONA also identified, amongst others, speedy progress on Lesotho Highlands project on the national park infrastructure. Sabulela, Minister, about Ngaleli Lesotho.
It's going to benefit iGauteng. It's going to benefit Mpumalanga, in Northern Cape, in Northwest. Funeka bayazi toba leLesotho Highlands yandoni. Which are the areas that are going to benefit? Individual households are going to benefit in that program.
Chairperson.
Let me get to Mzimvubu.
Just hold on, Honorable Sesfly.
Yes, Chairperson, I want to check if the speaker can take a question.
Aye.
Okay. Proceed,
The
Honorable Sesfly.
Mzimvubu water project, a very, very delayed project. Abantu kudala belindile bancamile. Siqinisekile they've listened to the minister today. What is going to happen at Mzimvubu? The minister deals with the issues of principles of project management 100%. Also, it's be planning. You can't do that. That's what has happened in Mzimvubu. The minister has started to hold on and assess what are the problems. Here he is now. Linda Animan, here he is now. Utuza kwakhela eladamu, liza kwakhela intabelanga. Intabelanga ke iza benefit isidwadweni, iza benefit uMhlonhlo, uJoe Gabi, iNyandeni, iPort St John's, iManfreya, iNtabakulu, noMzimvubu neShobhari neNgwemnyama neLothana. Andani mamele na. As the areas they've been waiting, but today there's and
Honorable Sesfly, isikhathi sakho sesiphelile ke mama wethu.
Ngaba bantu kwamunike 2 minutes.
Oh, sekunika 2 minutes extra.
Okay,
sorry, it's my fault.
Let me get to bucket eradication. Abanye abantu azanga abayadle into kuthiwa lilinke. Ngiyalazi ilinke ni. Into kuthiwa sanitation. Thina abantu izintombi sasedlalini. Umuthi xa uphuma endlini ukhangela ubuza uyapi na ukuzinceda because sanitation is dignity. Emveni koko kuzawulandela amahango. Emveni koko kuzawulandela amanzi eflood. Uhambe uyowakha. Uwasele, not purified. Today, sithetha ngebucket eradication. That needs to be taken away. Uniki dignity. Yabantu bakuthi. Funa ukuchazela basipha apho sikhoyo. Sise Eastern Cape, eFlixburg, Senegal Ritz, se Northern Cape, se Northwest, sidilishana nebucket eradication. Ukunikezela abantu ubomi obubhetele. Yekeni lo muntu nenkayi uqhube man. Ngo-2024 sabe sinane etshatshalazini. Asinantanga qhuba amacingwane sibujongile. Qhuba amacingwane sibujongile ne-deputy ministers zakho. Abantu belilizwe want dignity and you have started very clear. Don't lose it. Sibukele sibujongile. How the ANC struggled for legacy for freedom should bear fruits today. The committee support the report.
Order, honorable members. Order. Honorable Sesfly, my apologies. I was under the impression that because we are in the digital age, there's an automatic addition of the minutes. So I'm very sorry that I disrupted you. Thank you very much. Honorable members, for the next 10 minutes, no, Benyuti, no. Oh, no, Benditi, Tatisitiya. Honorable Sesfly, you can take your seat. Yes. I was saying earlier on, remember I interjected you. It was my fault. I should have allowed you to proceed for additional 2 minutes. I made a wrong assumption that when the additional minutes, because of digital technology, that is automatically added by the watch of the parliament. So unfortunately I was wrong. That's why I was apologizing to you, honorable member. I owed you that apology. For the next 10 minutes, honorable members, we are going to be listening to the Honorable Minister of Water and Sanitation.
Thank you very much, honorable member, honorable chair. Just to complete the list of projects and the impact thereof in the Free State, we are intervening via Bloem Water in Maluta Pufung, and we're making progress. In the Northwest, the same thing. We have initiated Operation Bulela Metsi, and we are going to be rolling out water, a range of projects, short term, medium term, and long term. Another bucket system, it is a problem. We are dealing with it in a number of areas, but just before I need to complete this, Water in Mfuleni and Midval, they are making progress. The Deputy Minister covered that. But I need to emphasize that Guyana, in the bulk line from Nandone to Guyana, water is there. Water is there, which was not happening. It's now happening. Water has reached Nsami, and all of us in our consciences, we must know. Now, there are 27 construction companies that have been appointed by Mopane. 20 are on site. You may have been there some time ago. They are on site, putting pipes that will, out of which water will come, and people will drink water. Of course, they can't drink water without pipes. That's what is happening there. Now, when the honorable member was speaking about Mkhanyakude, I thought we were talking about another Mkhanyakude. We were there on Thursday and Friday, and we've covered all the municipalities there, and those people were rolling out water. And in Josine and Mklabealinga, the pipes are being laid and water will come out of that. So this is what we're, so of course we can't take the blame. We came in here in 2021, but of course we accept assets and liabilities, but we're making progress. That's the main thing. In the morning when you woke up, you didn't have a hat, and at some point you wore it. That's progress towards preparing yourself for coming here. Guyana is not our headache anymore, except that water must come out. Loscop, which will pump water to Mutse and Tembesileane and give those people water, is underway and progressing very well. And I now want to proceed to the bucket system, bucket eradication. We are doing that in the Free State, Eastern Cape, and of course, Northern Cape, and we're making progress. On the reconfiguration of boards, that is on the way. By June this year, we should be over with that process. I want to get to the budget. In conclusion of our budget speech, emphasizing what Deputy Minister Mahlobo said on filling up posts. We have filled up all the posts, right to chief directors, and we've made great progress there, and the department is quite strong and functional. Now on the budget itself, the budget for the MTF is 132.6 billion rand, and it consists, in the MTF, it consists of allocations of 40.2 billion first year and 43.9 second year, and 48.4 billion in the next financial year, the third year in the MTF. Now, the department's budget consists of two components, main account and water trading account or entity, And money has been allocated as follows: 72.3 billion over the MTF. This consists of allocation of 22.2 billion, 22.1, 25.8, and the 23.4 and 5 and 6 respectively. Included in the main account budget are conditional infrastructure grants, municipalities totaling 37.6 over the MTF, consisting of 37 the first year, 37.6 for bulk infrastructure, and for water services infrastructure grants. The trade entity is mostly funded through revenue on sale of water, and the water trading has been budgeted as follows: 60.3 over MTF, 18, 19, and 22 over the MTF year on year. We will make every effort to follow on our expenditure. And last year, we're happy to say that we made an effort and progress, spent 95.4 on our budget, and we intend completing and underspending zero in the next financial year with this improvement. I can see that there is a concern from the Democratic Party, a person on corruption, on your democratic. Yeah, we know you are an alliance with yourselves, collaboration with the private sector. Yes, attended to on a rising scale. Corruption, fighting against corruption, we are on board. Wastewater treatment plants, you're concerned, we're addressing it to the best of our ability at the moment. So your way to the ANC is open with all these concerns removed. And on the EFF side, we know the concern. We're just shocked that you say you are rejecting this budget. You are a black person. So what must we do from here? We must tell the people of South Africa as we roll out this budget that you rejected this. So we will say so that we're on our own. On your own, you don't want any money to be spent. We will say so. Otherwise, thank you very much to the African National Congress and the IFP and others for supporting the budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just before we conclude, honorable members, I need to bring the following to your attention. The first one is that the debate on public service and administration, including National School Government and Public Service Commission budget votes, will take place at 14 hours, Good Hope Chamber. That's number one. Two, debate on government communications and information systems. Budget vote will take place also at 14 hours, committee room M46. This concludes the debate and the business of plenary session. The mini plenary can now rise.
Recording stopped.